Hello and welcome to the Retro Game Time Machine podcast. At the time of recording, it is September the 24th, 2020. I am Mash the Newton, and joining me through a series of tubes is Andy the Android.
What's up, Mash?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's warm today. It wasn't that hot, but for some reason it's super warm in my house today.
Yeah, mine too. I also don't understand why. I had my windows open, well, at least while it was cooler. But I don't know. Maybe it's probably all my electronics. It's probably what's what's making things too warm.
Yeah, it lately has been like kind of that rare time of year where summer is ending, fall is beginning, and the weather is almost perfect every day.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Like it probably as sunset, it's like 75 degrees out, maybe 70. It's just like really, really nice.
Yeah.
It's good enough weather to do anything.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice in my neck of the woods as well. And the air quality's been pretty good. So
yes,
I've also been happy that I've been able to keep my windows open a lot more often recently, and having a air purifier helps, at least with not opening the windows all the time as well.
Hooray for double-digit air quality index! So
yes, double-digit is great.
Yeah.
It was actually even down into the single digits earlier today. Like this morning when I checked, and that's when I was like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like opening up all the windows, like running around the house. It was great.
Fresh air.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. We're talking about weather again, like we tend to do.
I'm a weather nerd. I'm just gonna do that every time.
Every time we'll get the weather report. All right. Well, anything else notable happening as of late?
Not really. I think I'm getting my last hurrah in on summer, so I've not really had a ton of time to play games. And if I do, I'm kind of stuck on a couple things right now, which we'll talk about later. But not really. And a lot of gaming news though. So
yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on. I guess, yeah, we should just jump into that because other than work and playing the game for this podcast, which, by the way, in case you don't know and you're listening to this and somehow you've managed to not actually read the title of the episode, we will be talking about Super Mario World today. But before we do that, let's talk about the news. Something small happened. We'll start off with a really small piece of news. The something called the PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah, they finally announced their price. Pre-orders went live on the 16th of this month with little to actually possibly no warning. So some folks were pretty salty about the fact that they didn't get any advance notice. And I actually remember, since this is on here, I remember in one of our earlier episodes, I actually had a news item that was, hey, sign up on the PlayStation website and Sony will announce to you when the pre-orders go live. And it was just kind of like, boom, they dropped it. Like Europe was sleeping. So I think a lot of people in Europe are kind of pissed at the fact that pre-orders went live. So anyway, it's kind of a mess-ish, or at least the last I looked into it, it was kind of a mess. I don't know if it's gotten any better. But I did see something about how tomorrow, and for those of you listening to this, tomorrow is 3 days ago. Well, at least at the time of release. So yeah, tomorrow is, with being 3 days ago, you can actually go to a GameStop and pre-order a PlayStation 5, which I'm sure, they only have limited quantities to be able to do that. And there's still a pandemic, so you can't just click something on a website to get it, unless I horribly skimmed that article poorly. So
yeah, possible, especially for me. But there I think what I read was that some retailers actually opened up their pre-orders a day early too. Like I think I heard Walmart was thrown around there as well.
Oh,
So
they opened up early?
yeah, so I think that kind of messed things up a little bit, or maybe that was where the no warning came from. Is that kind of retailers just sort of like said it's live, so
Yeah, well, I've seen things on Reddit with people complaining about the fact that like not even Amazon is going to be able to fulfill all of the pre-orders that they took.
mhm.
It's because of stuff like that. That's why that's why I pre-order from two different websites of things.
Uh-huh. Totally. And
Like
I'm
that's why like crap like that just scares me where I'm like I'll feel like the coast is clear and then I get an email that's like, by the way, we actually don't have that thing. So better luck next time.
I think console pre-orders historically have been like kind of such a mess. I can't think of one console I got on day one, personally.
I have only done that one time, and that was the Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
The
how could I
reason,
forget?
yeah,
That was the one for me too. I camped out all day and all night basically to get one, because I for some reason I was out of internet when pre-orders went up.
ah,
So a quick story time. My friend and
yeah,
I went to who's probably listening right now. What's up, dude? He, we went to the GameStop like before they opened, like an hour before they opened. Set up folding chairs and sat there and waited for them to open. By about when they had opened, they'd informed us that they have two that are not spoken for as far as not in pre-orders. They have two
and
switches.
it was the two of you sitting there in the
Yes.
first in the line.
So
Amazing.
we kind of like looked at each other like, we can't leave. We have to stay here all day until
Yeah,
midnight. So that's what we did. And we totally got it. And that was cool.
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah. The only thing that was kind of weird, they wouldn't let us pay for it until midnight,
Yeah,
which I thought was weird. I'm like, oh, what if there was a problem with my bank or something, like
yeah,
that was a little annoying, but we got him. So that was cool.
nice. Yes, very to follow that brief tangent before we come back. Um, the very first time that I panic pre-ordered two of the same thing was the Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I ordered one I think via Target, and I also put in a pre-order via Best Buy. And the reason I did that was because in the first wave of pre-orders, which I don't remember if I made it in, um, I might have made it in the first wave of pre-orders. And then there were certain retailers that were sending out those notices saying, hey, sorry, we're not going to be able to fulfill your order.
Wow.
So I was like, crap. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen because this is the first console that I wanted to actually get on day one.
Mhm.
And then I think like a surprise like pre-order thing went back up like a day or two later on either Target or Best Buy, whichever one I hadn't already pre-ordered on. And I ordered there because I was like, okay, no matter what, like between these two, the odds are pretty good that I'm going to get one. And the odds are pretty good that I'm going to have a friend that really wants to get one that can't get one that I can just sell at cost. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did.
Awesome.
I did that with a coworker actually.
Okay.
Yeah, super nice guy. He moved away.
Mm.
But anyway, so yes. And then the second time that I panic pre-ordered two things, you reaped the benefits because you got Super Mario 3D All Stars at cost. Actually,
This,
even with the $10 discount applied that I got from Amazon, because Amazon gave me like $10 in credit back.
mhm.
So yeah, so that covered the tax for both of us.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And you didn't make a dime off of me, so
Heck no.
I appreciate it. So
Gotta pay it forward, man. So
yeah,
that way, if somehow you come across something amazing later down the road, you'll think of me.
yeah, you bet I will.
All right. So speaking of pre-ordering consoles and not the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series S and the Series X pre-orders did go live on the 22nd. There was advance notice. I think Microsoft did a polite little jab on Twitter a day or two after the PS5 like pre-orders went up, and it was like, hey, by the way, 22nd, we're doing them. Don't worry, we'll give you all the links and the where and the when. But yeah, so now it's official. People have already pre-ordered both systems. It's going to be an exciting time. I can't wait to see what comes. And I think we talked about this last time that we recorded. You and I talked about this offline from this, but I think we were both talking about in the last episode, or at least I think I said, there's no way they're going to cut more than $50 off of the PS5.
That was my prediction, yes.
With no optical drive. Like, there's no way. Like, come on. Like, and they did it. It's $100 difference for an optical drive. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't think that Sony did that willingly. I think they were under pressure to match Xbox and their price. So
I would agree. I think they were like, crap, we can't do $449 and $499. I guess we got to do $399 if Xbox has the price point of $299 and $499. So yeah, anywhere from $300 to $500, you can get your piece of the next generation. So yeah, there's a lot of new stuff to be excited about coming up with Microsoft and Sony, and possibly from Amazon.
Indeed.
Today, I think it was, they unveiled their new cloud gaming service, which they are calling Luna. It seems like it's actually going to be a direct competitor to Stadia, and also stuff like xCloud. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It looks like they're doing literally what Stadia is doing, as far as like you use a pre-existing piece of like Amazon enabled hardware and pair a controller to it. You can get a specific Luna branded controller that looks almost the spitting image of a Nintendo Switch Pro controller.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a good design. And what I think it said that they're going to be starting off at $5.99 a month, like $5.99 US a month, to kind of get some adoption going, and then potentially raise the price. And they're talking about like different channels of games. So it's, I don't know, sounds suspiciously like creating like some kind of cable package of games. It's like, I don't know, they're going back to the roots of Sega Channel.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because it's almost like what we're looking at here is kind of what Stadia should have done. Just sort of make a like a subscription service. I'm actually trying to figure out here if you have to buy games like Stadia.
So yeah, I don't know actually. I did not get that. Like if you can and or have to buy games, because there's like, I think there's a base subscription that gives you access to a specific set of games, and then that set of games is supposed to grow over time. I don't know what the licensing is going to be like. I don't know if it'll be like a temporary, like it's on for a little while in this part of the service, and then maybe it moves to like a more premium part of the service type of thing. It's a little bit too early to tell, but it is really interesting seeing everything that's going on with like cloud-based gaming. And I did see in that article, it pointed out the fact that, yes, it is coming to iOS, but it is going to be like a web applet for it to circumvent the App Store policies from Apple.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because Apple's going to have to figure this out, because this is not going to be the last of its kind. It's not the first, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Apple is treating games differently than it does music or video.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that I don't understand about this whole thing, is like Apple doesn't review every single song that gets put onto Spotify. It doesn't review every TV show and movie that's put on Netflix or Hulu or HBO or Amazon Prime or any of it. For some reason, they have beef with the games, even though they have their own competing music service. They have their own competing video store, like the iTunes store. And yes, they have the App Store with games, but I don't know. I am flummoxed.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think someone must have said something and they're trying to stick to their guns. And then but
It's yeah, I don't know. They've kind of gotten into a pissing competition with Epic.
yeah.
And I know that early on I've been on the side of Epic, and I still like, overall I am like, maybe not as deeply entrenched with everything that they're doing, but like I'm on the side of like, now this just kind of looks like hypocrisy with why this isn't being enabled, because I don't know. It's on Android. I don't know. I've already talked enough about it anyway. So yeah, sorry to derail on that, but yeah, new cloud gaming service, Luna, coming to everything. It'll be on Fire TV, Fired Stick devices, whatever, whatever you can do Amazon stuff on, and computers and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to compare. Like, I guess this will be the power of AWS as compared to the power of Azure and the power of what GCP.
Yeah,
As all the
Google.
different cloud hosting stuff competing with each other with gaming.
Yeah, it's the next console war.
Yeah. Yes,
Um,
the cloud wars.
So it would also be interesting if, eventually if these things come to Xbox or Sony PlayStation, if you can actually use these streaming services there. It's really going to mix things in. But
yeah, that would be really interesting. It's funny. I guess I'm a little bit of a hypocrite in the fact that as I was thinking about this, I was like, I wouldn't want to see Luna or Stadia on my Xbox necessarily, but I thought it would be awesome to see like Game Pass on Nintendo Switch or Game Pass on like the PlayStation. Hell, even, oh my God, actually Game Pass on the Apple TV, which actually that's probably a reason why Apple. Oh, that's probably the reason. That's probably the reason right there.
you cracked the code.
Apple doesn't want Game Pass on an Apple TV to just make it the cheapest way to buy an Xbox, basically.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Well,
anyway. So I would love that. I would love Game Pass on an Apple TV. Please bring it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because then, you could, well, I guess, never mind. You'd still have to have good internet anywhere you went. Anyway, streaming, it's coming. It's a big thing. Everybody's doing it. Why don't you start your own streaming service, fine listener? All right, we'll move on to the next piece here. Hogwarts Legacy. That will be coming in 2021. Have you seen anything about this game?
I think I saw like a screenshot.
I saw the trailer for it. I'm not a Harry Potter nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I have read the first 3 or 4 books so far because I'm reading them now as an adult. It's really funny. There was this time of my life that I keep referencing that was like, nah, that's stupid. That's for kids. And I'm not a kid, even though I'm kid aged, but I'm not a kid. So yeah, that was happening. And I thought Harry Potter was totally stupid. Turns out it's not. It's pretty good. And I've seen all the movies. So anyway, this looks good. Like, or at least it has the potential to be good. And I think it might fare better with me, who's not a mega fan of the series, as opposed to people that are mega fans, because they'll probably already have some conceived notions of how this should be done. Whereas I'm just gonna walk in and hope to be entertained and think it'll be fun to walk around Hogwarts and like cast some spells at people.
Yeah, it was also interesting that it looks like they seem to specify in the trailer that this is very, very early, like 200 years ago.
Yeah, it's in the
Early.
1800s.
Yeah, so which is interesting because if you know from Harry Potter lore, you kind of realize that things haven't changed too much in the,
Yeah.
like the past few centuries at Hogwarts. It's relatively the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will be interesting. I'm currently listening to the Harry Potter books and audiobook, so
Oh, nice.
I guess this does get
who's the narrator? Is it
Jim
Stephen
Dale.
Fry one?
Oh,
Okay.
he's the
Jim Dale.
man.
Nice.
Oh man, so good. He really kind of makes it. But anyway, I listened to it on long drives. I've already I basically from the fourth book on, I had them day one when they came out in the mail.
Nice.
So yeah, I was a Harry Potter nerd. It was
And
I was kind of prime age for him.
there were I was working at Borders for at least one, I think maybe two of the Harry Potter launches.
Sure.
Though I specifically requested to not work those launches because they were midnight launches. And I was like 18, 19, 20, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want to be around for this stupid kid book event.
Yeah.
And like, what was funny though, is like a lot of the people that worked there that were older than me were super into the book. So I hadn't become yet comfortable with myself.
You're a tweener.
Yeah. I had not yet gained enough self-confidence to enjoy something for the sake of enjoying it. Anyway. So yeah, I got nothing left on the Hogwarts Legacy game other than it looks really interesting, and I think it'll be awesome to play a Harry Potter RPG and be able to create, my own character to go to Hogwarts in the 1800s. So looks like a good time. Next thing we have is the Nintendo Direct Mini that aired on the 17th of this month, so about a week ago, I think. We got some Monster Hunter. There's going to be 2 new Monster Hunter games. One of them looks pretty much like Monster Hunter World, with the current generation graphics for the like Xbox One and PS4, but on the Nintendo Switch, it looks really good. I'm surprised actually at how good it looks. And it looks like you've got like a Spider-Man rope type thing you can do. You can ride on a mount that looks like a dog. And yeah, there's a few other things that were announced then, but I think Monster Hunter was the strong focus of the show. What else? Was there anything else of note that you saw in that list?
They brought up the Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh, that's right. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Which I actually thought was the Blind Forest is what they were releasing, but I guess that's already on Switch.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah. Because I was like, didn't this come out a long time ago? No, this is the sequel. But yeah, I mean, good for Monster Hunter games. The Monster Hunter fans, I should say.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, if you are a big time Monster Hunter fan, there's enough content to where that could be all that you play. Really, I mean, yes. There's like seemingly a constant stream.
Yeah, I noticed that when I picked up and started playing Monster Hunter World, when that first released. Like, I'd never really played a Monster Hunter game before. So I was like, what the hell? Like, it's coming out on Xbox and PlayStation and PC. Like, I ended up picking it up on my Xbox because I think it came out right around the time that maybe a few months after I got my Xbox One X. So it was like, cool, 4K mode. Like, have another game to take advantage of the X enhanced stuff. And it was fun, but man, it it's kind of hard if you're doing it by yourself. You definitely benefit from having friends and other people to play the game with.
Yeah. And another kind of announcement is that they were announcing that Hades is coming out on Nintendo Switch, which um, I realized we were talking about this before the show, but I didn't realize it's a very anime game like this in style, but the visuals and art look amazing, and I guess the storytelling is really in the diverse characters, and I guess the characters will react since it's sort of it's a roguelike. You're sort of dying and you sort of come back, but every time you meet these characters, they have new things to say, kind of, and
Nice.
they'll reference sort of things that happened last time. So it's kind of like a very dynamic set of characters that they have there. I don't know. This game, it's not my kind of game, but it is, I think, very slowly sort of coercing me into needing to try it. So
Nice. Yeah, hopefully it comes to more than Nintendo. Maybe it'll wind up on Game Pass.
yeah, I did see it will be on Steam on PC as well.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, then maybe no Game Pass. Let's see here. Also, sticking on the Nintendo theme, the 3DS production has ended. And not just for the 3DS, but the entire 3DS family of devices. So that includes the new Nintendo 2DS as well, which actually I think that might be the only one that was still in production.
Yeah.
Because the new Nintendo 3DS I don't think has been made for a little while, and definitely the vanilla 3DS and 3DS XL, or LL as it was referred to in Japan, they've definitely not been made for a while. But that was such a great little system. That was actually what brought me back to Nintendo, because I had kind of stopped after I had to sell my Wii. Because man, I was in a bad financial time back when the Wii was still fairly new, and I had one, but I had no way to pay my bills, so I had to basically just like give it to my roommate. It was like, here, if I give you this, can this cover my bills this month? Um, so anyway, after that, I didn't have Nintendo stuff for a while. I didn't even know the Wii U existed. Um, but then I saw something about how Animal Crossing was going to be coming out on the 3DS, and that is what brought me back. That's why I'm wearing this Metroid 2 t-shirt right now. Yeah, the 3DS really got me back into Nintendo in a big way. And I'm very happy about that.
Do you think that you might try and nab one of these late model 3DSs?
I've been thinking about it
Yeah.
because I think it might be cool to get either one of those brand new 2DSs,
Hmm.
or I mean, there's a few versions, or at least a few like colors of the new Nintendo 3DS XL that I think are pretty cool. Like, I really like the Galaxy one. I think that looks really awesome. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it, and I figure like if I were to do it, I would need to do it soon.
Yeah, I'm kind of eyeing that new 2DS just because it was sort of a smaller, lighter form factor.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
go
if
ahead.
you are thinking about it, there still might be some in the Nintendo refurbished store,
Uh-huh.
in
Okay.
case any of the brand new ones are out, or if people are price gouging on the brand new ones.
Okay.
Have you ever bought from the Nintendo refurbished store?
No.
Dude, it's indistinguishable from brand new.
Wow.
Um, well, at least what the stuff that I have purchased, like I've purchased controllers. Like actually all of my Wii Remote Plus controllers and nunchucks, all of those came refurbished from Nintendo, and they looked like brand spanking new. And at least to this day, I've not had issues with them.
Cool. Yeah, I might check that out. It's the thing is I have a Nintendo 3DS XL and I have a new 3DS XL I got secondhand from somebody. So it's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
hard to justify at this point because I've got the major hardware revision, but
yeah,
I don't know, something about that 2DS. It looks good.
yeah, yeah. I just have my red 3DS XL. Um, and I actually was able to get it one of the rare times that the local game shop here had one brand new in box. So anyway, yeah, good stuff. 3DS, you will be gone from production, but you will forever be in our hearts. The next item here is Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's getting its first major update, and it's going to be focusing on Japan. I watched that trailer, and it was showing some of the flyovers of like some notable landmarks in Japan, and it was really cool. I have not yet gone back to Flight Simulator since I played it whenever it was that I talked about it on the podcast. Just because there's been so many other things that I've also wanted to play. There's too many good games and not enough time in the world. If only I could like not have a job. Then I would be able to play probably at least half of the games that I would like to play if I had an extra 40 hours a week.
and maybe a little less money to buy them.
Sure. Yeah, haven't figured out that get paid the same amount of money that I'm making right now while not actually doing what I would consider to be work.
Yeah.
If somebody knows that and how to do that, let me know. And yeah, anyway. All right. So yeah, Flight Simulator, Japan, updates, fly around, see some cool stuff. Anything from you on that?
So, did it say anything like? Well, I've noticed a few of these stories floating around about Microsoft, like Flight Simulator, focusing on different areas. Does it seem like there's just content missing? Like I heard something about like an update for Africa as well, which is like, I mean, mapping Africa like this would be a huge task, like accurately. But
Let's see. I'm trying to take a look and I don't see anything here. But the cities that they did a high resolution 3D photogrammetry for were Sendai, Takamatsu, Tokushima, Tokyo, Utsunomiya?
Utsunomiya.
So, okay, there we go. And Yokohama.
Gotcha.
Cool. World Update 1. So I would assume that there are going to be multiple more coming since they're calling this World Update 1, saying introducing new landing challenges at airports across Japan. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's just going to be, I imagine there's going to be some rough patches and stuff, but I'm glad that, they're doing new areas. And then as these patches roll out, you could, maybe practice flying around those areas to experience that content.
It seems to be the direction that they're going in. It seems to be the direction that a lot of games are going in right now, where it's like, hey, here's release, here's all this content. Oh, and hey, it's been like a month or two. Don't forget about this game. Here's this other new content that's here now. And then same thing, like in another month, like, hey, here's some brand new stuff. Come back and play.
Games as a service, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that it doesn't seem to cost anything for this update, but I know there is paid content in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it's like, I don't know, more planes, more large, actually like full scale 3D rendered airports. Because I was listening to a different podcast a while ago, right when this had released, and some of the people talking on it were like, oh wait, you can't even like land and do anything at these like different airport locations. You can only go to like these 6 airports, which is
Mhm.
not true because I've flown out of and flown into little like podunk airports all around this state because of like places I used to live, or like flying up into like Oregon and landing at another small airport that I know that I've gone through before. So anyway, the airports exist. It's just not all of them are fully detailed and 3D modeled.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you can still probably find your own local very small airport. It's just not going to have whatever graffiti you've left there.
I think I did attempt to land where I grew up, and it didn't look right as far as what I saw. So there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of detail there.
Yeah, I took off out of where I used to live and I didn't even pay attention at all. I was like, I just want to get in the sky and then go somewhere else that I know where I'm going, just based off of the landmarks. That's
Yeah.
been the fun thing for me when I have played this, is flying around and flying by looking at landmarks
Yeah.
and knowing where I'm going. We're like, okay, cool. Like I know my state fairly well. Anyway, I think it's enough about Flight Simulator for me. Anything else from you?
No, but we do have something on Microsoft here.
Yes. Intentionally ordered things to have a natural segue from Microsoft to Microsoft. Another thing about Microsoft is, holy crap, they're buying Zenimax, which includes Bethesda and id Software. So, yeah, console exclusive titles. Like, holy crap, they just bought up all the Doom games, all the Elder Scrolls games, Fallout. And now that they own Bethesda and Obsidian, people are like, oh my God, now Obsidian can possibly finally make Fallout New Vegas 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It's I mean, we kind of knew that for a long time Microsoft has been shopping around looking to buy up some studios, because apparently they had this, large amount of money that was sort of uncalled or non-spoken for, it seems.
Yeah.
But just sort of a whole from all the game development studios, they seem to have just sort of like let dissolve or die on the vine. But yeah, I think that this is pretty big.
This is huge. Because what I think they're going to do is not necessarily eat up all of these franchises and make them exclusive to Xbox. What I think they're going to do is still sell them to everyone else, but say, hey, but it's free but it's all included in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pay $15 a month and get all these amazing games, or you can pay 60 or 70 bucks a pop when it comes out on PlayStation. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I had also, heard on another podcast I was listening to that they were just kind of pointing out the irony that, like, yeah, you can buy Microsoft games on Steam, but you'd have to be crazy to now, like, because it's just a really, really bad deal. So it's like finally Microsoft starts putting games out on Steam, but it's an awful deal.
Well, but there is a market for it. Like there's like there I don't know. There's people that I know that that play a decent amount of Microsoft games, but they only buy them on Steam, and they will not use Game Pass because they don't want to use the Xbox app in Windows.
Yeah, it's interesting, but for me, it's like, hey, if you can put it in make it a wicked deal, I'll play your games wherever you want.
Yeah. So I swear we are not getting any money from Microsoft or or the Xbox division, or anything that has to do with Game Pass. It's just such a great deal. Anyway, I'm going to shut up about it. Last thing about Game Pass. Doom Eternal is going to be one of the first games coming to Game Pass post announcement of Microsoft planning to purchase Zenimax. So that'll be exciting because I've wanted to play that. But what's funny is when it was coming out, because I know that Doom 2016 has been on Game Pass, I was like, I'll wait until Eternal comes to Game Pass because I'm sure it probably will. And now all of the future Doom games will continue to come to Game Pass. So I'm happy.
Yeah, same. I want to check out Doom Eternal really bad, but I wasn't really down to pay for it. So
yeah,
not that way.
No, I mean, it's sitting in my Steam wish list. Like, I'm like, cool. Once it hits $15 or something, I'll pick it up because I'll probably only play it for about a month, and that's the cost of Game Pass for a month.
Yep.
Anyway. I thought I had something else I was going to say, but that's fine. I don't need to talk about Game Pass anymore. The former Blizzard CEO, Mike Morhaime, announced a new game company called Dreamhaven. So I think he left Blizzard a couple of years ago, maybe just like a couple of years into the acquisition, or I guess the nicer sounding word is the merger with Activision. But really Activision bought Blizzard. It was
acquisition.
Thank you. Like that word just totally escaped my brain, even though I'm fairly familiar with that word. So yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. I think this is cool. I always like. I never think that it's a bad idea for somebody who created a kick-ass gaming company who left after it got too big, goes back and creates a new, smaller gaming company. I think only good things can come.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while before anything comes out, and I'm sure they're going to retain their habits that
for sure.
It doesn't release until it's done.
Yeah, so I don't expect we'll see any Dreamhaven games until like 2030.
Yeah, exactly. But
like,
what a game.
Yeah, what a game it's going to be. Man. It's if it has any of the staying power of any of almost any other Blizzard game, I don't know. Rock and Roll Racing and the Lost Vikings don't quite have the same staying power as World of Warcraft or StarCraft, or Overwatch for that matter, but still they're good games. Well,
yeah,
actually I haven't played Rock and Roll Racing, but I have rented the Lost Vikings multiple times, and it was a great time.
Good for the time.
Yes. So yeah, anyway, that'll be fun to see whatever they have, like I said, in 10 years. This is a news item that came up maybe 2 to 3 episodes ago, but it actually went live today. So I wanted to bring it up again in case people forgot about this. But the Last Stand update for Left 4 Dead 2 has just come out. I just checked Steam before we started recording just to make sure that I didn't have an update or anything else that I needed to do, because I think that's what I'm going to do when we're done recording. I think I want to go check out Left 4 Dead 2 Last Stand. It's crazy that there's a new update to Left 4 Dead. I guess, it's all community driven. It's stuff that has been completely created by the community. I guess they did work with Valve over the course of a few months. But it's cool to see community made content as an official part of the game. And
yeah, I love to see more companies do this, really, for series long abandoned, because there's cool stuff that comes out, from the community, but it seems like most companies have sort of the Nintendo approach that, nope, only we do that. Please stop.
Yeah.
Or we'll sue you, so.
Yeah. So, I put in a few hundred hours of Left 4 Dead 2 on PC and even more on the Xbox 360. because I had a friend across the country that was super into Left 4 Dead 2 that played on Xbox. So anyway, I've played this game so much. I love this game. I can't wait to play some of the new content, and just jump right back in. Such a fun game. I gotta get you to play with me.
Yeah, no. I mean, I
don't
will
remember.
come willingly.
Do you have Left 4 Dead 2?
Yeah. We played together briefly, so we did a level. So
got it. Okay. Oh, that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes. We should try that this weekend maybe.
Yeah.
Or right after this. No pressure. All right. And our last news item is so this game, it's funny. I could have sworn this game already existed, and then it's blown up recently so much that I thought it was a brand new game. But then, like, I started watching somebody on Twitch playing it, and I was like, wait a second. Like, I've seen this game. Like, I know that this has been around for a couple of years. Turns out it has. I guess a couple popular streamers played it recently and got it, and it's just blown up like crazy. And the game which the title I've not said is Among Us. It has become so popular that the developers of Among Us that were making a sequel, they've canceled the sequel, and they're just going to add all that content to the first game, which I think that's super awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of an interesting move, because you would think that the success of one game would more like confirm the existence or accelerate the existence of a sequel. It'd make you more sure that it will sell. But I think that's cool. Maybe they've got their bills paid for a while so that they can just continue to add updates.
Well, I mean, I think it just, I don't know the exact figures, but like it went pretty crazy like in this past couple of weeks as far as like the popularity, and it's $5 I think on Steam. So that also just made it blow up. I haven't played this game, but it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out a little bit. It looks like I just don't know a lot about it, and the trailer doesn't feel like it tells you like a lot about the game.
So basically, the premise of the game, because I've watched people play it now for a little while. It's a 2D game, and you run around and you're supposed to do I guess a few specific actions, but there are two imposters among you, and the two imposters know that they're imposters, but it is their job to kill everybody and not be detected. Wow. So when somebody gets killed, everyone is alerted, and then everyone, people will go and they'll find the body. And then there's a point where it's kind of like timeout. You all get to talk, and you all get to say your piece about who you think that is one of the imposters. And basically your job as the imposter is to trick people into thinking it was somebody else, throw those people out of the airlock or whatever, kill, wrongfully kill people. And then it is your job to try to make it to the end of the game to be one of the remaining survivor.
Wow.
So yeah. So if both imposters get found out before the end of the game, then they lose, everyone else wins, or of course the opposite will happen, and the imposters will trick everyone and survive.
That sounds like a blast. I have to check that out.
Yeah, so it really mostly has to do with the way you talk to everyone else that you're playing with. But yeah, it does seem like it would be a pretty fun game to play with friends.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know how many players you need approximately, but it looks like there was a few
Yeah,
Definitely a few.
I think at least 6 is what I've
Oh,
seen at a minimum, possibly, but it might be more.
I have the developer page open. It's 4 to 10
4 to
players
10. Okay,
of online over or over local Wi-Fi, which is interesting. So
cool.
flexible amount of people. I like it.
Yeah. So it's funny to see that game and a game like Fall Guys. Oh, which reminds me, I need to add that to what I've been playing.
Oh,
So it's funny, especially during the time that the NVIDIA like RTX 3080s and 3090s are like being pre-ordered and purchased, that games like Among Us and Fall Guys are the incredibly popular games on PC.
yeah, runs on your toaster.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen on like they have different ratings for like how graphically intensive that you can like rate games in your reviews on Steam? And like the lowest one is like the so least taxing on your system. It says check and see if you can run MS Paint, which is great.
Okay. Um, any other news stuff you want to talk about before we jump into our time machine and talk about Super Mario World?
Dude, let's do it. I'm ready to talk about and play some Super Mario World.
Cool. All right. Well, it's that time that we get into the time machine again. And we have now arrived in the year 1991. And hark, what is this that I hear? It is Everything I Do, I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. That is the number one song in the United States. The day that Super Mario World released in the United States. There's a very big difference between the United States release and the Japan release, but we'll talk about that later. And as you guys know, we're in the United States, and we're so self-absorbed. We're only thinking about what it released for us. Also in 1991, Nicktoons made its debut, and I remember that Saturday morning.
What did you watch? I have to know.
I watched all of it. It was Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Doug, and was there anything else? Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and Doug.
I mean, that's quite a 3. That's all you need right there. Yes, I love Doug.
Man, I loved Doug. I loved Rugrats. Ren and Stimpy was so freaking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good. I feel like I'm missing something. Anyway, Terminator 2 was also released, and Hasta la Vista, baby became like a very, very quotable phrase, which I'm sure people know to this day, even if they've never seen Terminator 2. Or maybe I'm just overestimating this popular culture reference from 1991. Johnny Carson, he announced his retirement from The Tonight Show, and I'm sure that there's possibly half the people listening to this are like, who the hell's Johnny Carson? Dinosaurs, the TV show, also premiered on ABC, which, oh my God, I loved that show.
Yeah, I remember.
So funny. The whole I'm the baby, and yeah. The For Dummies book series was created in 1991, and it started with DOS for Dummies. And then last bit of pop culture stuff that happened here while we are here in 1991, or at least how we know that we are in 1991, is it costs $5 an hour to get on the internet through CompuServe in 1991. It's like the internet had arcade type pricing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, not even talking about how much data you're using, but you probably wouldn't want to load too many pages because that would just eat up your hour.
Yeah.
10
Well,
minutes at a time.
also, I mean, at the time though, everything was pretty much text based. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what people did on the internet in 1991. Um, wait, I might have used the internet in 1991. I think my dad had the internet. Anyway, or if it wasn't 1991 that I used it, I think it was at least by 92 or 93. Ah, the sound of a modem. Anyway, so yeah, since we're here in 1991 and our focus is Super Mario World, let's get into the history of the game. So I know that I mentioned that the 13th of August 1991 was the release date in North America. It actually released the 21st of November in 1990 in Japan. So Japan had almost a whole year ahead of us to play this amazing game. Sadly, oh, sorry, my cat. I don't know what the heck she just did. She just made a lot of noise. I think she was sleeping high up and then maybe moved and didn't realize she was so close to the edge of the entertainment center and almost fell off. So anyway, exciting stuff. So yeah, that's right. Sadly, the European Union, before it was the European Union, they ended up getting Super Mario World on the 11th of April, 1992. So 3 separate years this game was released on 3 different continents. And for those of you asking, what is Super Mario World? Well, it's a 1990 platform game, and it was developed by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or the SNES, or as other people call it, the SNES. The story follows Mario's quest to save Princess Toadstool and Dinosaur Land from the series antagonist Bowser and his minions, the Koopalings. Gameplay is similar to that of the earlier Mario games. Players control Mario or his brother Luigi, or also referred to as Green Mario. not really. Through a series of levels in which the goal is to reach the flagpole at the end. Super Mario World introduced Yoshi, a dinosaur who can eat enemies, as well as gain abilities by eating shells of Koopa Troopas. For those of you that have maybe recently read the Wikipedia article, I do apologize because that's basically what I'm reading right now. Nintendo Entertainment Analysis and Development, or Nintendo EAD, developed the game, led by director Takashi Tezuka and producer and series creator Shigeru Miyamoto. In the first Mario game for the SNES, it is the first Mario game for the SNES and was designed to make the most of the console's technical features. The development team had more freedom compared to the series installments for the NES, or Nintendo Entertainment System. Yoshi was conceptualized during the development of the NES games, but was not used until Super Mario World due to hardware limitations. That's something that I know that I learned about a while ago, but I always find that to be really interesting. The fact that they thought up Yoshi, which actually I wonder what year Yoshi's Cookie came out on the NES. Anyway, that they had thought of him, but they just didn't have the technology to build him.
Yeah, and it's also interesting too, because if you look back to like Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World, the graphics aren't leaps and bounds better, but the color is what you'll notice is when you're playing. The color is so much better.
Yeah, I mean the color palette, it makes a huge difference. And it's funny to hear like oh, it's not that big of a difference, but living it, going from my first Mario game being Super Mario Brothers 2, getting Super Mario Brothers 3 for Christmas, playing that all day with my dad and playing the heck out of Super Mario Brothers 3 until I got to play this. Like this looked like a whole other world. Like I don't know, at least at the time, like it was like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is on a home console. These are like arcade graphics.
Yeah.
And the arcade was the pinnacle of everything. At least to me at the time, because the
Yeah.
arcades were amazing.
Should I talk a little bit about reception here?
Yeah, please take it away.
The game was received overwhelmingly positive reviews from critics. Game received, yeah. Review aggregator Game Rankings ranks Super Mario World as the 17th highest rated game of all time, with an aggregate score of 94% based on 9 reviews. Nintendo has sold 20.61 million copies of the game worldwide, making it the best-selling game for the Super Nintendo or SNES.
It's funny now that I'm thinking of like how many copies has GTA 5 sold?
Yeah, I mean, these were big numbers.
No, I know these,
of course,
are,
but
especially for them, these are huge numbers.
yeah,
I mean, it does help. Like, I'm pretty sure they counted sales as when it was the pack-in with the like Super Nintendo launch system. But still, that technically counts as a sale in my book. So then, before we talk about our like current playthrough and our memories of it, for the plot, for those who have not yet played this game, which if you haven't, what are you doing? Pause this podcast right now, pick up your Nintendo Switch, go to the Nintendo Switch Online Super Nintendo and play this. Well, actually, maybe do that after the plot, because yeah, anyway. So the plot, after saving the Mushroom Kingdom in Super Mario Brothers 3, brothers Mario and Luigi decide to go on vacation to a place called Dinosaur Land, a prehistoric-themed world swarming with dinosaurs and other enemies. Why are you going on vacation where there's enemies? Anyway, while resting on the beach, Princess Toadstool is captured by Bowser. When Mario and Luigi wake up, they try to find her, and after hours of searching, come across a giant egg in the forest. It suddenly hatches, and out of it comes a young dinosaur named Yoshi, who tells them that his dinosaur friends have also been imprisoned in eggs by evil Koopalings. Mario and Luigi soon realize that that it must be the evil King Bowser Koopa and his Koopalings. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi set out to save Toadstool, or Peach, and Yoshi's dinosaur friends, traversing through Dinosaur Land for Bowser and his Koopalings. To aid him, Yoshi gives Mario a cape. Cape is so good. And as they begin their journey, Mario and Luigi, wait, he doesn't give him a cape. You got to steal that cape.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, but yeah, you definitely have to steal it from a poor dinosaur.
That is nonsense. Yoshi never gives you a cape.
Yeah,
this is a lie. Anyway, yeah. Aside from that, that's fine. Let's see. Mario and Luigi continue to follow Bowser, defeating the Koopalings in the process, spoiler alert, and save Yoshi's dinosaur friends. They eventually arrive at Bowser's castle, where they fight him in a final battle. They send Bowser flying into the sky and save Toadstool, restoring peace to Dinosaur Land. And all was good with the world.
Personally, I only have faint memories of watching my cousins play Super Mario World back in the 90s when it was released. So for the longest time, I was definitely aware of it. I knew of this game, but I hadn't actually like formally introduced myself. I didn't own a Super Nintendo myself. My first Nintendo console would be the N64, but I had a Genesis at this time. With Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Well, we'll have to talk about that.
Yes,
one of these episodes.
Yes, yeah, because that's there is a lot of nostalgia for me at that game. But I would first purchase Super Mario World on the Wii Virtual Console. I'm estimating probably in 2007, 2008.
Wow.
So,
man.
Well, what's kind of neat about this is that I was I was in high school, probably around that. So maybe how old were you when you were experiencing Super Mario World?
The very first time I was 7.
Oh, I guess you were 7. Okay. I was going to say we might have matched up there, but no, yeah, it was late high school for me. And I quickly found I'm not very good at the game, mostly because I didn't have a lot of experience playing 2D Mario games. You know, I'd already experienced like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario
Ah,
Sunshine at this point. So going back to a 2D Mario was kind of a stark difficulty curve. Like, for example, I didn't know you could throw items up into the air until I reached Bowser at the very end of the game, where it to defeat him you have to throw his Mecha Koopas into the air. So like to land on his head. That's so I had to look it up. I was like, I don't know how to throw this thing upward. So
uh,
I figured that out. I had also missed many of the secret exits, as many people probably do the first time that they play.
oh, definitely.
Um, and I still don't know how I got out of the Forest of Illusion. I feel like I need to just get that tattooed on my arm or something so that I will never forget. But anyway, I think they did a good job making it mysterious. The game, all in all, I was surprised when I got to the end. I was like, oh, it's already over. And I think that maybe this game, I think though it is a masterpiece and a classic, I think it might have been kind of pushed out the door, or I think Nintendo at the time, from what I understand, was getting some pressure to release a 16-bit system and to release a game for it. Whereas I think they were totally happy continuing to make games for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So, but Sega was coming along with their Mega Drive or Genesis, depending on your region. And but you can absolutely tell it's a Nintendo game. It's aged exceptionally well. It has sort of the branching paths like we talked about in Star Fox, sort of
Yeah.
increasing almost artificially just your amount of replayability. And there was a whole mode hidden if you actually like completed the game. So what was the condition to actually get the flip textures or alternate character
So
models?
I I believe it's just um like defeating Bowser.
Oh, okay. I
I
thought it was
think.
completing Star Road. I forgot what it
Oh, you
was.
know what it might be? I don't remember because I didn't actually get alternate textures on this playthrough. But
Mhm.
then again, I did also just stop after I defeated Bowser. Um, but yeah,
Google will tell us.
yeah,
Um, I'll have to look it up. But anyway,
yeah,
do you want to talk a little bit about your memories?
yeah, definitely. You can look up that stuff while I start chatting. So yeah, I originally played this when it was new. Like I mentioned, I was 7 when this game came out, and the daycare that I was going to for like before and after school care, um, they had a Super Nintendo, a Super Mario World, and a number of other games. Like there was Pilot Wings and F-Zero, which those I think they probably bought all 3 of those right at launch because I think they had it right at launch. Um, so that was at least a really cool thing about my daycare at the time was we got Super Nintendo and we got a bunch of new games. And oh man, we also got to watch Ninja Turtles every day at 3 o'clock, I think, or 3:30, something
Epic.
like that. Um, yeah, it was the only time that the TV was not on CMT for country music television. Um, anyway, so Super Mario World, Super Nintendo, yes. So I got to play the heck out of this game with all the kids that I went to the daycare with, even though I didn't have my own Super Nintendo. So this was my introduction to the Super Nintendo, was playing Super Mario World at the daycare, which I also subscribed to Nintendo Power. Like super, like I needed this. But we did end up playing it so much there that we collectively beat the game, and like we started probably with the help of Nintendo Power, started discovering like all the alternate exits and actually like unlocking everything in the game together as a group of young kids, which is kind of fun to think about. But yeah, there was like not everyone that went to the daycare loved playing, but there was like at least a group of like 4 or 5 of us that like if we were allowed to, we were glued to the TV and we were playing Super Nintendo. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting lost in my notes here. So yes, I mean there were so many different secrets in the game, which that's I don't know, that's one of the things that as I was playing it this time around with a real fresh pair of eyes, like I started completely from zero with a brand new save, which I haven't done in quite a while. And I don't know, like this game is I guess to me somewhat like comfort food, where like I just realized like I don't know, I got a real cozy feeling when I was playing this game. Like I didn't have to think about anything really. Um it's all like muscle memory for me for a lot of the different secrets or like different platforming sections of the game that might be kind of difficult. It's because I played through it so many times. Um but also one of the funny things is so when I ended up getting my Super Nintendo, I was 8. I saved up my money for a year uh, to be able to buy it, and that's actually, and I wonder if I talked about it here. That's how I learned about sales tax for the first time in the United States. So for those of you that don't listen, or sorry, that don't live in the United States, and I know there's a few of you, because our analytics tell me that you're in different countries, which thank you so much. It's great to have international listeners, and actually, it's great to have any listeners. So, even for the people that are here stateside, we equally appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. Where was I going with this? Oh, sales tax. So, sales tax in the United States. For those of you that don't know, whatever price you see at the store, that's not what you're paying, unless you live in a state like Oregon that doesn't have sales tax. I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 other states that don't have sales tax either. But yeah, so that I got to learn about sales tax because it was $99. So I saved up $99 and I went to the Good Guys, which is an electronics store here in the United States that doesn't exist anymore. I went there with my dad and we went to go buy the control deck version of the Super Nintendo, where it just had one controller and no game, for $99 plus sales tax. So it was like 100 and I don't know, whatever the sales tax was at the time. So I think it was like, I don't know, $106, $105. So of course I didn't have enough. And I had probably $30 in change. Like that was really annoying for them. So my dad spotted me the rest of the money, which that would have been really messed up if he didn't, to get my Super Nintendo. So because I bought this version and I had already played the heck out of it and I'd already beaten it at the daycare that I was going to, by the time I got my Super Nintendo, I don't know. I wasn't still going to my daycare, which I think is part of the reason why I needed a Super Nintendo so bad, is because I didn't have daily access to one. So I actually did not own my own copy of Super Mario World until probably I was a teenager or in my early 20s was when I finally bought my first cartridge copy of the game, which I still have, of course. So I just beat the game yesterday, for however many times that I've done this now. And I only just really thought about this yesterday, but you defeat Bowser. Like, I mean, you mentioned it by throwing the Mecha Koopas in the air, but it never occurred to me that like you defeat him with his own enemy creation, which I think is kind of cool. That like you don't ever actually jump on him 3 times. You don't do the normal Mario thing. You just like hucking these things up at him, hopefully gonna hit him in the head.
Yeah, it's a total boss move, right? Create
Yeah.
their own trap, basically. So I was almost kind of, when I was fighting Bowser, I was almost kind of mad at him, like, no, you idiot, stop throwing those, because I'm just gonna throw them back at you. Anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool when it finally like occurred to me. I'm like, oh, you don't actually defeat him in the typical way that you defeat enemies in a Mario game. Um, Also, I love that when you beat the game, it says that Mario, Yoshi, and the princess and all their friends are going to be going on vacation together to take a vacation from their vacation because their vacation got royally screwed up by Bowser, which, man, he's always doing that.
Yeah, always. I mean, there's another game I've been playing and talking about later. It's oddly similar. Um, kind of plot.
Yeah.
I just threw in this link for you to check out, and I found that the color palette is called Fall or Autumn for Super Mario World, and it's unlockable by, I believe it's completing Star Road. There's a special ninth stage, and if you scroll down, you can see some of the different.
Mine's empty.
Let's see.
I have nothing. It says there's currently no text in this page.
I think I screwed up the link. Here we go.
Okay. Yes. There is an additional slash.
It's amazing what one slash could actually be the URL.
Yes.
But if you scroll down, I mean, check out these awesome pumpkin piranha plants.
Yes. So I've definitely, yeah, I think these exist in one of my saves. Yeah, I definitely remember seeing all these, the fall, especially the fall themed Koopa Troopas that look like Mario's.
Those are weird.
Yeah, I definitely remember those being in the save game at the daycare that I went to. So let's see here. What else we got? Oh yeah. So I also love the very end that like Peach is riding side saddle on Yoshi while they're being followed by 7 eggs, and you end up, or 6 eggs, 7 eggs, I don't know, however many eggs, and you just wind up back at that same little like spot in the very beginning of the game. That's like a level that's not a level. It's where it has the same type of layout basically as the top secret level above the ghost house in the Donut Plains area, where it's just like a single screen. You walk in or out, and then it takes you back out to the world map. Do you know about the top secret area?
I do a little bit. Well, maybe I might have discovered this on accident. So
the top secret area in the ghost house is a little secret. Like you have to use a secret exit to get to this tiny little level that is directly above the ghost house in the Donut Plains area, and it is a single screen. There are 5 item boxes. The middle one is a Yoshi, or if you already have a Yoshi, it gives you a 1-up. The 2 left ones will give you fire flowers. Unless you're Tiny Mario, then all of them just give you mushrooms. But if you're Big Mario, you get fire flowers on your left, and it ultimately is the cape, but the feather. There we go. Yeah, and you get 2 feathers on the right-hand side. So you can just keep going to this to get a bunch of lives and power-ups. Like that's the place that, like, once I burn down on lives, I just go back to that, get a bunch of lives, get a Yoshi again, and fill up my power-ups so that I'm good to go.
That's perfect. I don't know this for certain, but I think the number of eggs that you have at the end of the game depends on how many castles you actually destroy. Because Mario always seems to leave with an egg every time.
That's right. Yeah. So that would have been not enough eggs for all of the castles for when I beat it. Because I got as far as Choco Land, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna back up because I already unlocked Star Road. So I went back to Star Road, beat all the Star Road levels, and then ultimately went to Bowser Castle that way. But also, I don't know if I had ever done this before. I knew that it existed, but I don't know if I had ever used this secret exit. But the secret exit in Star Road 5, I think, is the level. That actually takes you to the Star World, where it has, it's 4 or 5 different levels. The only two that I have unlocked right now in this particular save are gnarly and tubular. And I beat gnarly, and then I think I just stopped, and I was like, or whenever, I don't know, whatever day it was that I unlocked it, I was like, oh, I'll come back to it later. But ultimately just ended up going back so I could defeat Bowser. So this is the first time that in all the times that I beat the game that I've beat it this way, where I've cut out a section of the game, Choco Land and everything after it, which is kind of weird. But I also think, I think that it's really cool that there are so many different ways that you can choose to complete the game.
Yeah.
And you have, you can make it as easy or difficult for yourself by choosing to go to the Switch Palaces or not. Because there's a lot of sections that make the secret exits incredibly difficult, if not damn near impossible, if you don't go to those Switch Palaces.
Yeah, I did notice that, and they can sort of alter your course. They just sort of unlock areas for you, so that you can, find these secret exits and these other things. So it really kind of shapes the game. The more you play it, it sort of evolves.
Yeah, there's so much variation in the game, and there's so many things that you can do, and it's also funny because I know when you were talking about your experience with it, I think you said something about it being short. Especially when I was a kid, it felt like this game went on forever.
Yeah.
And I still kind of have that feeling. I still feel like sure, technically I took a pretty short path to get to the end screen. But there's still so much more to do. There's still so many levels that I haven't played, and I don't know. This feels more so than most of the 2D Mario games, nearly endlessly replayable.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Mario 2 was my first Mario that I owned, and I've played the heck out of it, and same with 3, and even everyone I knew had the first Mario Brothers, which I ultimately ended up getting it later too. I just, it's funny because I don't feel like those are quite as replayable, but I think it also potentially has to do with the fact that that you can save in this game. And I know you can't save on demand whenever you want after every single level, but if you do it after significant checkpoints, like completing a ghost house or completing a castle or a Switch Palace, something like that, that'll give you the opportunity to save. And you can, when you've made progress, but you're not technically at a save point, you could just go back and beat one of the ghost houses real quick, which that particular, where the top secret area is with that ghost house that I was mentioning in Donut Plains, the way you do the secret exit is as long as you have a cape, super easy to do. So you can basically, because of that, you can save on demand.
Yeah.
You just have to keep going back to that, which is annoying, but you can save after each and every single level if you want to, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, there is I kind of noticed the game is sort of different depending on some of the power-ups that you have, whether you have the cape or you have the Yoshi, sort of the way that you play, it really seems like it changed up.
Yeah.
I did watch a speed run of Super Mario World where they did the whole game as Tiny Mario, so deliberately not getting any power-ups.
Yeah.
And just the way that they had to handle some jumps and the way they sort of maneuvered was just completely different than the way that I played, which I basically used save states just so that I could hang on to the cape, really. So,
yeah. And we didn't talk about the way that we played. Because you said save states, so you were using Nintendo Switch Online, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Which was really nice just to have that. Even, I mean, it's not even save states; they have the DVR feature. So as soon as you
you can just rewind.
Yeah,
man, I was jealous of that when I was at least knowing that you were playing on something and had progress in which you could just rewind. Because when I went back to fight against Bowser, it was, I don't know, I probably tried like 10 times, and like it wasn't working out until I finally like sat myself down and was like, this next one, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're gonna win, and that's it. And then I did, but yeah, there were times like, so every single time that I would die, I would go back to Star Road, and then I go all the way back over. At first, I started off going all the way back to that top secret area so that I could get capes and everything. And then I was like, this is taking too long. So I decided to instead go to Star World 1, I think. Yeah. Star Road 1. And in the very beginning, there's a mushroom sitting right there. So you walk up to it, get it, and then do your start select so that you, like, as long as you beat the level, it just takes you right back out of the level, go back in the level, get that mushroom, start select, get out, and then go back to fight Bowser. Or, at least get through the castle to go fight Bowser.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting. Like we kind of talked about the shortness of the game. Like, so there's, there is a short critical path to this game, but there's probably a whole nother game's worth of content if you go around to all the levels and sort of unlock everything. So I think that's, I think the games of this era, they really influenced a lot of the classic games to come, like Super Mario 64, for example. You get to the end with 70 stars, you can unlock the final boss, but there's still, was that 60 more, 40 more star, 120, so 50 more stars to collect. So it's like you're just past halfway,
Yeah.
And some of those stars, might be the 100 coins or some of the harder levels. I had to stop playing that game because of Rainbow Cruise or Rainbow Road. I forgot which one it was called. The one with all the boats and the flying carpets and stuff. Anyway, I think it was Rainbow Cruise. But anyway, we're not talking about that. So yeah, there's definitely more content, and I think there's a lot of content that I didn't see. Looking at some of those alternate textures for autumn or fall, I think that'd be just really cool to play seasonally, so.
Yeah. So, and like, I can't believe that, at least if we're going off the Japanese release, that this game's been out for 30 years now.
Wow.
It's still like, it could come out tomorrow and I still would feel like it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I agree. It's really,
it holds up so well. It's made me really curious what the 16 other games are that are ranked higher than this from that game rankings thing that we called out earlier when you were reading through some of the content.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like, I really like, it's such a good game. So yeah, for anyone who has not somehow played this, definitely play it however you can. Play it on Nintendo Switch Online, get a Super Nintendo, get the cartridge, emulate it if you have to. Like, anything, like, just play this game. It's so good. Yeah, like, I don't know. I still think it's funny that I did not own it for quite a while. I mean, I guess it makes sense since, like I described, I'd already beaten the game. I already got to play it a lot. Like, I didn't need to own it. But I'm glad that I definitely have my copy now, because it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I have some games like that too that are like I played the heck out of, but I never owned them just because either friends had it or it was just the, what you did when you were younger,
Yep. So actually, I guess before we're done with our chat about Super Mario World, I do really want to throw out how much I love the music. The
Yeah.
music in the game is so good. It's another Koji Kondo game. When it comes to like he composed the music. Um, yeah, I love also that it's like the same little tune that they just kind of vary the way that they're playing it or play it in like different octaves and like I don't know. It's so satisfying. Um, yeah, that's definitely a soundtrack that like I can just sit and listen to all the way through and thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean these a lot of the like just I don't know the titles of some of them, but some of the like most iconic Mario music, you know, made its debut in this game. It's, you know, arguably the best music that has come out of the series. So
Yeah. Like the underwater music is really great. Well, and I mean, crap, I really love the Bowser Castle music too.
yeah.
Like when you're actually in a boss fight. Um, I don't know if it's actually. Well, no, there is. Yeah, I guess I am thinking of the music that's playing when you fight against Bowser, and I don't know. Like I just the sound effects, the everything. It's just so well done. Um, yeah, I don't know. I might be done with my praise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean it's an excellent game. I feel, you know, it's really hard because a lot of people talk about Super Mario 3 in comparison to, and I think, you know, you got to hand it to Super Mario World, I think, at the end of the day, but um you know, they were both great games.
Yeah, well, I mean, Super Mario World basically just it got to build upon what was introduced in Super Mario 3. Like because Super Mario 3 introduced the overworld, it introduced the Koopalings.
Mhm.
Um, so Mario 4 really just kind of followed that same structure that it laid out. Um, but one thing I guess that it didn't do, now that I'm thinking about the overworld of Mario 3, is it didn't have random encounters.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like where there would be like a random encounter sometimes with like the Hammer Brothers, or the like flying pirate ship things, like the flying ships.
Yeah, those darn random encounters. Whenever I play that game, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna die here.
Bum,
It's
ba-dum,
definitely what's
bum,
gonna
ba-dum,
happen.
bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Anyway, um, yeah, man, Koji Kondo has made some. It's funny. I realize he's probably made the majority of my favorite music in my life. He's probably composed all of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean, don't get me
definitely.
wrong. Like, I do also very much like traditional quote unquote uh, music, but yeah, there's so much really great game music that he's composed that that is just going to be burned into my brain forever and just like puts a smile on my face when I hear it.
Yeah, you know, I always think I get a little chuckle, like speaking of Mario Brothers 3 with the flute sound, you know, like when you the kind of like mysterious like doo doo
Dun, dun,
doo
dun, dun,
doo,
dun,
and then how they use that
dun.
in Ocarina of Time as like the title theme when it's basically the same tune, just like in a little different octave played on the ocarina. It's like when I found that out, I think it was like a Did You Know Gaming video. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't
Nice.
couldn't believe it. I'm like that mysterious melody.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yep, Nintendo definitely gets music right among practically everything else with these type of games. Um, not to say that they've always produced, or not to say that every single game they've ever made is completely amazing, but this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely what kicked it off, I'd say. Anything else you want to say about Super Mario World?
Um, think I'm good for now. Yeah, I guess it's time to go back. I'm really hesitant because
Yeah.
things seem so innocent here in 1991.
Make like Marty McFly and go back to the future.
Yeah. One of these days, we're gonna upgrade our time machine, and it'll sound a lot cooler. I
Yeah.
promise.
It's not a DeLorean.
Um, yeah, the one that we got a bargain bin time machine. That's why it sounds so janky. So one day we'll save up and we'll get a proper time machine that also sounds really cool.
It's actually just a PS7. That's the it's a time machine. PlayStation 7.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's step back into our janky time machine when we go back to September the 24th, 2020. So here we get in. And we have arrived back in 2020. I guess maybe I feel a little bit blue about that, but we'll press on. I'll try not to think about too much other than the games that we've been playing.
Yeah, it's all good. I bought a Brian Adams album on a cassette while we were there.
Nice.
So.
I brought back with me the the Ninja Turtles. What the heck was the name of that album? Coming Out of Our Shells. I brought that with me.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, it's all good now.
I actually had that. Oh, it was terrible, but it was so good because I was a kid and I didn't know any better. Anyway, all right. Well, we're back in 2020. And I'm Barbara Walters. I'm just kidding. Also, probably most of you don't understand this. Oh, no. Or maybe you do. So whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, stuff we've been playing. I'll throw out a couple of things real quick, even though I know I've been talking a lot recently, just because your list isn't very big.
No, sadly.
It's okay. There's a lot of quantity, or sorry, a lot of quality in that little quantity in which you've been playing there. So I have continued playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 on the Xbox One. I've just been getting a few more achievements on it. Been trying to clear out the challenges. I'm almost totally done with the veteran challenges. I still have like one combo that I need to pull off with Rodney Mullen before I complete all of his challenges, which that will then also complete all of my veteran challenges, which will get me another step closer to completing the legend challenges. And the main reason I care about this is I want to unlock Officer Dick, who is voiced and character modeled after Jack Black.
Jack Black's got a YouTube video up on that. I thought was really cool. And that was also really cool that they offered to pay him and he said, nah, not going to pay me. So,
yeah. So so basically I'm just trying to unlock Officer Dick. I also made a new character that I modeled after my partner. So it's been fun to play as her a little bit on some of these. And I've been playing, I actually played it a bit online. There have been a couple of nights actually that I've played it online for quite a while. And it's a nice change of pace for multiplayer games because you're not like shooting people. You're not doing any acts of violence towards anyone. It's just kind of a chill, like you're all at the skate park together kind of thing. And you're just trying to like out trick everyone who's there. So yeah, it depends. Like there are some lobbies that I just dominate. And there are some lobbies that I am like one of the worst people. It just depends on if I get matched with the people that can do like 3, 4, 5 million point combos, or people who can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So it
It's
seems like
like,
there's a wide
yeah,
skill.
I'm like right in the middle there. Like, I think the biggest combo I've done so far in this game is like 2 million and something. Oh wait, no, for a combo, no, for a single combo, I think it's only been like 1.5 million.
Oh,
Um, so anyway, yeah, it depends on the map. It depends on who I'm playing against. Um, but it is nice though because it changes up so that you're doing graffiti mode, which you trick or grind or do whatever on all these different pieces, and it makes it that color for you. So you just have to go around and try to collect more things or trick off of more things than other people. And if your score is higher than what they do off of the same thing, you get to keep that. But if they get it higher, then they take that spot over from you. Um, so anyway, it's been fun playing that online and just single player. The soundtrack is fantastic. There is an officially made playlist on Spotify for those who are interested that just want to listen to the soundtrack of this game. I'm also, for the most part, enjoying a lot of the new songs that were not in the originals. Because I don't know. I was actually, that was a fabrication I was about to tell. I was going to say I don't listen to a lot of like modern music. Well, I guess a lot can be subjective. I feel like I listen to a decent amount, but compared to what I know comes out, it's like just like a drop in the bucket. But anyway, it's good stuff on it.
yeah. I mean, that's got to say something if it's, if you can listen to it all together and enjoy it all together. I think they, probably did a good job. So
Yeah.
curating. So
yeah, I didn't even realize that I could skip songs until I'd already been playing the game for probably close to 40 hours. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll use this sometimes.
yeah.
But only like when I have a particular song in mind, well, I'll try to skip to it. But yeah, so I'm playing that. And then let's see, one more quick thing is this weekend I also played some Pavlov VR, which I know that I've mentioned it before. It is a VR multiplayer first-person shooter. I just did either deathmatch or team deathmatch. You can do more like seek and destroy type stuff, or like more Counter-Strike type things. Like I think there's hostage stuff and bomb defusal, like planting and defusal stuff. But yeah, I just did the deathmatch and team deathmatch and primarily played in the Dunder Mifflin office. It's like one of the, it's like always one of the maps that's in rotation for deathmatch and team deathmatch that I see that's online for Pavlov. So like I've spent like a few hours in the Dunder Mifflin office shooting people in VR and just laughing and doing more of what I know I've described before, which is I don't like this gun. Throw it on the ground, grab my grenade, grab the pin, hold the lever down until I see somebody, let it go so the lever pops, and then I've got that 3 to 4 second fuse. So I'm like running up at somebody and just try to stick the grenade right in their face. Especially when they've spawned in and they're just like looking down at their gun, they're trying to get their bearings, and then all of a sudden they see this hand with a grenade right in front of their face.
The Dunder Mifflin office seems like it would be a great map just from what I know about it from the show, just like how it's laid out. You've kind of got your wide open exterior, you've got your offices, and then the warehouse.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, so it's not the warehouse. It is
okay.
it's just the main office.
Okay.
The bathrooms, the hallway to the annex, and the annex.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, so it's small, but it feels like a decent size because you're in VR.
Yeah.
But it also just makes for complete chaos, and that's
Yeah.
also part of the reason why I like it. It's just like spawn and die, spawn and die, spawn and die. Yeah, there was one map that I played though that was pretty big. I don't remember the name of it, but I also like some of the guys that were playing were like play this like gentlemen, pistols only, and I was like, all right, cool. You don't always spawn with a pistol.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, how can I be not a jerk? So I'd like throw down my assault rifle. I'd pull out the grenade, prime it and have it ready, and then pull out my knife.
There you go.
Run around with my knife in front of me. Like, so I'd be going around corners, knife first. And that way, if you're going around a corner, knife first, there's a good chance you're going to stab somebody and get them. And then if that doesn't work, let go of the lever on the grenade, keep trying to stab. And then if they don't run away, they're going to die. They're either going to stab them or they're going to blow up from the grenade. And half the time I killed myself with a grenade, but 100% of the time I laughed my ass off and it was great.
That sounds like a good time.
So yeah, one day, man, I gotta gift you Pavlov or something, and we gotta play online. Like I haven't played with anyone that I know, and I've had a screaming good time playing on my own with a bunch of strangers. So
okay,
there's just, I don't know, like playing multiplayer deathmatch the standard way, like on a screen, like that's fine. Like that can still be pretty fun. But I don't know, like the whole twist of it being in VR and you're actually in it, like I don't know, like looking at the gameplay prior to having VR and prior to owning this game, even after I had my VR headset, just watching it, I was like, I don't know, this doesn't look that fun. Yeah. But then actually getting to do it, like that's the difference with that. Like I know that you and I have talked about with like talking to other people about Half-Life Alyx. It's like if you're only looking at somebody playing it from a flat screen, it only has so much appeal potentially. Like you just don't get it until you have the headset on and you're in it and you're actually in the world. That's what makes this game so good. Even though it's something that's been done 1,000 times before, the fact that it's in VR and it's I don't know, it's as customizable as it is, it's accessible as it is, like it's super fun. Anyway.
There's got to be a lot of fun in the imprecision as well. You know, it's like people aren't just pointing a mouse and clicking, you know. Yeah. It's
no, like there are so many times of like brain prick because like somebody comes around the corner and they're actually in your face and it scares you and you're like, oh.
It's funny.
Like I've accidentally killed my teammates so many times because like somebody runs around a corner and I'm like, oh my God, and like shotgun blast them in the head and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry about that. Forgive me.
Yeah. So anyway, those are a couple things. I'll let you say something if you're ready.
Yeah. I so one of the things that kind of like sucked up my time this past couple of weeks because you sold me a copy of Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yeah.
And you know, I was really excited, but I didn't want to like go to like necessarily the newest game first, but I really was just ready to do a playthrough of Sunshine. So I actually did do a playthrough, a credits run basically. So that just get enough shine. So basically you have to I think it's the 6th level of every level you have to chase Shadow Mario around. So you have to basically do 6 shines on every level, and then the end game state is unlocked where you can go get the boss. But I don't know, I really like the game because I like that sort of consistent format because the 7th star is always like a fun one. Like it's almost like the clear state. Like, okay, I fixed all the problems in this level. Let's have some fun with it. Mario's on vacation again, just like in Super Mario World. But Princess Toadstool or Princess Peach is kidnapped, and you know, actually a number of times in this game. So anyway, I love it, but also, and there's a lot of nostalgia talking here, but it definitely feels now, you know, just having played more games since, you know, 2002 when this game came out, it definitely feels kind of unfinished in a way, almost like raw, like how some of the mechanics work. and a fair amount of bugs as well. I think in my first 5 minutes I accidentally clipped out of bounds without like
Oh
trying
wow.
to at all. Yeah, I was trying to grab a ledge on a building and I just fell through the building. So
Oh, weird.
yeah, it was interesting. I'm really sad because I think Nintendo missed an opportunity. You cannot use the GameCube controller to play this game effectively, which I'm
That
like,
that is such a miss.
yeah,
Because the GameCube controller is explicitly supported on the Switch.
yep, and you can play it pretty much any game. Like
Yeah,
as
as
long
long as you
as you
don't
have to.
need 4 trigger buttons, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't. The buttons aren't mapped quite properly. Um, I'm trying to think what else the problem is. There's duplicate buttons basically because uh, I guess the way that they set it up is that like it's not. I think A and X do the same thing. I think that's what the problem is, and I
Ah,
think you need X or something like that. And it is the buttons were mapped wrong, so I was like, okay, you can't play. But I was like, man, that would have been really nice because the game is sort of built around the controller and whatnot.
yeah,
So
it's definitely a missed opportunity.
yeah, the game like it has these action stages where they kind of take the flood away from you and you have to like sort of get to the end without the water jetpack. So that makes it harder, but really it's more like a test of patience most of these levels because they're not actually super hard if you just take your time, but if you try and rush through it, you're going to die. And then because you're rushing through it, you want to rush through it faster. And so I was definitely stuck on some areas just because I refused to just like slow down and wait for the timing. Anyway, it was interesting. I'm not going to 120 star this game. It doesn't get to be in the 120 star club or the 100% club, but I did enjoy playing it. It felt like a good nostalgia hit.
Yeah, I need to play it again. I haven't played it since it was new on the
Mhm.
GameCube, and I still have my copy up on my shelf, but like yeah, it hasn't been it for me because I don't know, 18, 19, 20, sometime around then when I
Mhm.
got the game. Um I don't know. It's not quite as nostalgic for me like um because at the time, as I've discussed, I was definitely more into PC stuff, but I actually got my GameCube and Super Mario Sunshine as a gift from a friend of mine. Um, he was actually buying the Platinum release GameCube. Um,
Mm. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, so he was buying the Platinum one, and he already had from launch day. He had a black GameCube. Um, so he was saying that he was thinking about like selling his black one, and I was like, dude, I would love to buy it. Like,
Yeah.
can I buy that GameCube and what I could I buy Super Mario Sunshine off you so that I could give it a go? And he was like, oh yeah, definitely. Like he's like, we'll work something out. And then we went to Walmart at midnight or something to buy the Platinum GameCube. We came back to his house and he gave it to me and he was like, Merry Christmas.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, dude, just take it. It's like, no, I was gonna give you like at least $120 for this. And he was like, no, like Merry Christmas.
Wow.
So yeah, that was super nice. So I do have a very positive association with Super Mario Sunshine because I had a very generous friend.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like certified nice guy award goes to that person.
Yes,
So
and that still, though I haven't talked to him in a while. Still stands at least from the last time I talked to him. Super nice guy. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess should I talk about a couple more?
yeah, talk about some more games.
All right. I also let's see. Maybe I'll knock out 3 here. Um, Real quick, played Mario Kart Tour on iOS because there is a collectible pin set that you can get from Nintendo for purchase. Like there's a few things that you have to do, but one of the prerequisites is you purchase Super Mario 3D All Stars. So I did that. There's a couple like silly little quizzes that you can do. And I can't remember what else. But then one of the things to get this collectible pin set is you also need to play Mario Kart Tour during whatever event they were having, which is now done. So if you're listening to this, sorry, that event is over. It ended on the 22nd, I think. So because it didn't update the page to say that it was done, and I didn't read the fine print, the fine print tells me that it should be properly reflected by, I think, like the 30th or something, or the 26th, one of those two dates. I just kept playing it. I played a lot of Mario Kart Tour on iOS, which was actually better than I expected. I still really don't like the multiple currencies and all of the trappings of a free-to-play game. But the actual gameplay itself for being on a mobile phone was not too bad. The graphics look really nice on my iPhone. It practically looks like the Switch, if maybe not even a little bit crisper. Definitely not as tight of controls, for sure. And really not the same game. But if you don't have any other way to play anything that that is Mario Kart, then I would suggest this. It's been enjoyable. So I did that. Also, started playing this game on Game Pass called Hot Shot Racing, and it is an arcade style racing game, but more so than it just being arcade style, it looks like it was made in the 90s for arcades. It has kind of a hybrid, at least to me, it kind of feels like a hybrid between like Sega Rally Championship, Daytona USA, and virtual racing. So it kind of combines visually the controls, the track types, like all of that is where I get the influence from those three games. And early on when I started playing it, I know that I talked to you and I was like, I don't feel that impressed. Like I just played through, like I did one Grand Prix and that was it. And that's what I based my opinion on. Where I was like, I don't know, like it just like it just didn't quite do it for me. But then I realized I only played like a very small portion of what was available. So I decided to give it another try. And I went back and played it again more last night. And then even a little bit today, right before we were recording, like literally right before we were recording, I like snuck in like a few more races, like in the last 20 minutes before we got online. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's not a super deep game from what I can tell, but the gameplay's fun. It looks good. There are multiplayer options, which I haven't touched yet, where I guess it seems like there's like a cops and robbers type mode that you can play online with people.
Interesting.
I don't know if I'll get into doing any of that, but I have not yet raced on every course yet. I still have at least 4 more tracks in like one of the Grand Prix circuits to go. So anyway, it's fun. If you have Game Pass, definitely feel like, you should check it out. And last thing during this segment is Super XYX on Steam. This is a shoot 'em up, a shmup, a bullet hell shooter, whatever you want to call it. It also is very retro styled, in my opinion. It feels like a 90s arcade shoot 'em up game. It looks like a 90s arcade shoot 'em up game. It feels heavily influenced by games like Dodonpachi. But actually, at least as far as I've gotten into it, it's not quite the same level of bullet hell that's coming at you. It still is there though. And oh man, I think it's like the third or the fourth level. I really get like 1942 vibes from it. And I love the 1942 arcade game and NES game. It's very simplistic compared to a lot of the other like shoot 'em up or shmup games. But I don't know. It's always gonna have a place in my heart. It was the first one for me. It's like it's what introduced me to the genre, and it's what brought me back to it, like to really get me into it since I've been an adult. But yeah, totally recommend it. I don't remember how much it costs on Steam. It might have only been $10, maybe 15. Definitely under $20 for sure. But fantastic, totally worth checking out if you like games of that style.
How did you hear about it? I'm just out of curiosity.
Oh, so I heard about it from there is a blog and YouTube channel called the Electric Underground. So if games of this style are enjoyable to anyone who listens to this, check it out. There's a guy named Mark MSX who makes all these videos. He has been so inspirational to me when it comes to trying to like push myself to get better at these games, because they're hard.
Yeah.
They are very hard. Like, I am definitely not good at Super XYX, but I can't wait to be.
Yeah.
Like I've been that way with the like all the Dodonpachi games. Like there's like Dodonpachi Resurrection, I've actually gotten pretty decent at, well, on novice.
Yeah.
I'm okay on the standard arcade difficulty. I still can't one credit clear it, and I probably won't be able to for a while, but I have seen like my own progression of me getting better and better and better at this game. So yeah, like games like this are my Dark Souls. Like this is the type of game that is incredibly difficult that I really enjoy pushing myself to get better.
Nice.
So yeah, great stuff. Again, Mark MSX on the Shmups Reddit. Electric Underground is the channel. And if you search that, you'll find his blog.
Nice. Do you want to talk about our Overwatch adventures?
Sure. Yeah, we did some of that last night.
Yeah. It wasn't our most successful if you're counting victories, which kind of hurt a little bit. But
yeah, it did a little bit.
in a way, Blizzard has this way of doing it. I'm just going to talk about it right now too.
Please.
It's like StarCraft 2 is it you get your butt kicked enough, and then you kind of you wait a day or so, and then you're like, I want revenge. Like I want to go back. So I definitely want to play that again in the near future and
totally
see what happens. But yeah, I've been playing some StarCraft 2 as well. My buddy and I, we looked like we were not going to have a good night. I think we lost like 5. Probably we went like what would it be, like 1-5 on our record. We basically like won 1 and lost a bunch, and it seemed like he wanted to get offline, and I'm like, dude, no, I can't play this weekend. We're gonna play this until I don't want to see this game for another week. And so we kept playing, and then we started winning, which was kind of incredible. So it seems like when you're on the top of your ranking, again, we're in platinum, at least as a duo we're in platinum, but since we usually end up high enough that we start going up against the diamond players, get our butt kicked for a while, and then we start matching with seemingly people that are trying to get into our rank, and then
gotcha,
we do better. But we had some hard fought victories, which is, it just feels good. It's same with Overwatch. If it's a close game, it doesn't really matter the outcome as long as it's close,
Yeah, like I think it was the second game that we played last night.
Yeah.
Where I'm sorry, I'm gonna call you out.
Yeah, I GG'd.
Yeah, I know you GG'd. Like, oh my god, it was like literally 5 minutes before the game ended, because they had like what, just like a meter or two left to push the payload.
Yeah.
And like I know you had just died. I was already dead.
Yeah.
And I was respawning when you did GG, and I was like, you did not just GG. And
I thought
like,
I was the last person. I thought I was the last one to die as
no,
the
we
healer.
made it out, and like, you know, we kept fighting that fight, and we held it for like literally another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We did technically end up losing, but it was in heavily contested overtime, and we were in overtime for probably literally 2 minutes, which is a long time to be in overtime on a payload map. So, yeah. So I was like, you don't GG yet. You GG only when you see victory
Yeah.
or defeat.
I'll learn, but I've lost plenty of StarCraft games in the first 2 minutes, so it's it's definitely StarCraft is a race, right? So if
Yeah.
you can sabotage your opponent so that you can get further ahead in minerals and army value, it's like if you do enough damage over the course of the game, you like the more damage you do, the more certain your victory will become.
Yeah.
So, and if you can prevent them from catching up, that's really the name of the game, is just sabotage your opponent as little or as often as you possibly can and as effectively as you possibly can. So, and it's kind of crazy because there's no stats that'll really tell you how far ahead or behind you are. You can't see those stats till after the game. So you almost have to get this game sense where you just sort of know, like, oh, I know that army I just killed of yours was a lot of money, and if I'm doing rough math, I'm way ahead right now. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I had to say about StarCraft. It's continuing to be there, like a bad habit or a bad friend or something.
Yeah, your StarCraft habit's like my Overwatch habit.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have played a significant amount in the past 2 weeks since we last recorded.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the very last thing that I have on my what I've been playing is Fall Guys. It's funny because I realize I haven't, like, I keep forgetting to add this game, but I have been playing it in between practically every episode that we've recorded, but I might have only ever talked about it one other time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't tend to play a lot of it, but it's something that, like, I don't know, like if I'm feeling tired, but I'm feeling stubborn that I don't want to go to bed yet, or if I'm reclining in my office chair that reclines super far back and then my cat gets up on my chest, then I'm like, this is a perfect game for me to just throw on and like grab a controller while I'm laying back and like play Fall Guys, because like I don't care if I lose in this game. Like it's silly.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Like, and it's super quick to get back into another game. So yeah, it's fun. It's cute. It's colorful. Simple. It's nice to have something to play that I really don't have to think about. And it's funny because it is a wildly competitive game, but it doesn't feel that way.
I think I read a headline this morning. I think it was that it said last month, Fall Guys wasn't the most played game on Steam, but it was the second. So yeah, it just, I mean, it really kind of crazy how it's taken the internet by storm. But you just bought it on Steam or something like that? Like you didn't get it through promotion or something like that?
No, I bought it on Steam.
Yeah.
Within the first like 2 weeks of its release, I think, because I don't have PS Plus right now. I haven't had an active subscription for a while. So yeah, I paid the $20 for it. It's been fun.
My PS Plus just auto renewed, so bye $60 or whatever.
Yeah, well then at least claim those PS Plus games.
Yeah, might as well.
At least do that. So yeah, I mean that's all that I've been playing that's been notable at all.
Yeah, I think next time I'm gonna say it here just to hold myself to it, but I'm going to try and play some more since I still have that Apple Arcade subscription. I want to try some more games there.
Yeah.
Just to sort of have more of a mobile presence as well. I'm not biased against mobile games. I think they're games too. So
Yeah, there are definitely some good games on mobile. It's just a lot of them are not, in my opinion. Just because I don't know. I really don't like all the like I mentioned before, the multiple different currency types and the timers to get you to come back.
Yeah, if you see a timer, something's gone wrong, I think, in my book. So
there's a lot of things that are common in many mobile games that I really don't enjoy, but they're not in all of them. So
yeah, totally.
All right. Well, that concludes what we've been playing. I guess, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm excited because now we get to talk about which game we're going to be playing next week.
Yes. Do you want to take that away?
Yeah, sure. Since this is one I was kind of pushing for because it's one of my favorite games, but also in honor of the 35th Mario anniversary, we're going to be playing Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, I played a lot of this on the Wii when it came out. It's one of those few games that's in my 100% club. But you know, I'm trying to go for another 120 star run this time. No pressure. But I've already started playing. Aha! I see you have the copy in your hand. You're actually
yes. I plugged in the Wii that I have and popped this in and have made just as much progress in this version as I have in the newly released Nintendo Switch version.
I'm kind of jealous because the Nintendo Switch version, it definitely looks really good on a 4K TV. So if usually for presentation's sake, I would recommend that. But I do feel like the controls work. I do long for the Wiimote and Nunchuck actually. So
yeah, though I haven't played it much, I'm enjoying it. Like I am enjoying the Wii motion controls for this game, which I didn't know how I would feel about it. But yeah, I'm not far yet because I only plugged all of this stuff in today and popped it in today. Had it on my shelf for quite some time. Got it for a good price quite a while ago. Galaxy, that is. So yeah, I'll be checking that out over the course of the next 2 weeks for my first time, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. I have a lot to talk about with this game, but that we'll save that for next week.
Yeah,
or next 2 weeks.
Next episode.
Next episode. There you go.
Okay, so yeah, tune in next time for Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii and now for the Nintendo Switch. So thanks for listening to the show. We know that there's a lot of podcast options out there, and we really appreciate the time, or you taking the time to put our words into your ears. And that might sound kind of weird, but I like saying it.
I think it's great.
It really does mean a lot to us. The fact that anyone at all is listening to this, because we're doing this because we enjoy it. You guys don't even know how many episodes we recorded before we released.
This is true.
We have so many more episodes that have not been released.
They're total garbage.
Than have been released.
You'll never hear them. So
yeah, we also didn't have this format, but we were practicing. But we were practicing so that we could give you at least decent content and not terrible content. So anyway, yes, thank you so much for listening to the show. If you are listening to the show, if you're not, then I'm not thanking you, and you're never going to know that. So if you haven't already, you can subscribe to this podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Overcast, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Radio Public. So please come and join us next time, where we will talk about video games, and I would bet good money one of us is going to talk about Game Pass.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks again, and bye for now.
See ya.